Hey everyone, Margarita here. I'm down in Ohio, sitting outside my place in Ohio, and I had to come down here and show the place to a few people. Now this is almost a year from the time I initially began trying to sell it, and really what's going on is the land that it's on, the owners of the land are playing games. The management office is playing games. Every buyer I get, they're basically trying to get them to get approved for one of their brand new homes, finance wise. And like my home is a cash buy where their monthly payment to them would be very minimal. So I've had this ongoing issue. Didn't really figure out that was the issue till about 6 months ago. Now here we are a year later, because today is like what, April something? It's like mid-April 2025. It was supposed to be sold last April. Was the first time I had gone about getting this all in order. Now, I am still working on all this. This is really stupid, and due to my mother's ongoing crimes, initially I would have not taken my furniture out of here, and I would have not let the land payment go, and I would have kept it all going if I had known that my mother was going to play so many games and commit so many more crimes and ban me from my dad, take credit for all the work I had done the first 15 months of his injury, and make sure that I don't get to see him again, and play this all out fraudulently in probate court and use numerous police departments to put false charges on me, or try to. If I had known that was all going to go on, I would have never even moved my furniture up out of this place a year ago. And I would have allocated my homeowner's funds for my other house differently, and I would have made it so that could have at least been an Airbnb, or the majority of the house could have been, and I would have closed off like one section of the house with some of my stuff in it, or two sections of the house, and nobody that would have rented it out would have realized that any space is even missing because the house is so big. Now, this is all very stupid at this point, what has all gone on. My income's at a dead stop, and part of the other problem is Ford Motor Company has spilled gasoline 2 more times where my other house is in Michigan, and so that caused me to have to shelter in place for quite some time, 2 separate times. It's still lingering currently. It's not all the way gone, so I do have an issue with that, and at least I do have my home hyperbaric chamber up and running at this point. But had I known my mother was going to continue on with these crimes, keep shit going to where it is, I would have never let the land payment go here. I would have never moved this stuff out. I would have just kept what furniture I did put in the other house. I would have fixed everything differently, went about it all differently, and at least had that home able to produce income, because the amount of income I would be able to produce just off that one home with those sections closed off would be more than enough to cover the payments of everything I have and provide basically without me having to produce any other income in any which direction that I have things running. It would have been enough to keep our lives running very smoothly and comfortably. So that's what people aren't understanding about all this bullshit and all this shit that's being talked about me, all these delusions being passed around. You know, yeah, I own a really big house there in Michigan. I own this little house here in Ohio. If I had not been being disrupted all these times with all this chaos, these crimes, this destruction, manipulation, the narcissistic games my mother plays, and all the bullshit that's been ongoing for decades, I would own 5 houses just like that at this point, and all of them would have been producing income, and I would have been retired from my other forms of employment 5 to 10 years ago, 100%. So that's what no one's understanding. Everyone's talking all this shit about me, or speculating what you think I'm doing with my time, or where I'm taking things in my life. Really, that's nobody's business, because I'm 100% self-made, self-built, always have been self-employed since 2007, 100% self-employed since 2012. So had all these disruptions not gone on, yeah, I'd own 5 of those homes, just like the one I have in Michigan at this point. They'd all be producing income. So not only would I have comfortable, stable income off the one home, able to provide for the rest of our lives, but it would be multiplied times 4 to 5. So what's going on is absolutely ridiculous. I've got all these people making assumptions, or what you think I'm doing, or just because whatever you see in that moment doesn't show the full picture of everything I have going on, or because I don't share that with everybody. Why would I? Everything I've been doing all along the way, why would I? That makes no sense. You know, those are all delusions. Everything everybody's ever heard about me, everything that's been going on, everything out of my mother's mouth has all been delusions. Everybody who knows me or knows of me through her and doesn't even know me believes all these delusions. I can tell right when I start talking to people based on how they talk to me and how they assume certain things without actually having any facts. What's what and where, who got what information from where, because you could tell by the way people talk to me, because I'm on the exact opposite end of the spectrum than what she has portrayed me to be. Now here I am sitting out here still trying to get rid of this home right here, and at the same time the truck that my daughter drives, it's in my dad's name, or well, technically I guess it's in my mother's name, which we thought was in my dad's name. He had a Bell Tire account for his tires, so it's just pertaining to the tire portion. They don't do service the other work on that credit card. We dropped it off this morning to have an estimate done on the work that needed to be done on the front end, and that's how we figured out it's only good for the tire portion. Not only that, but they tried to charge us an excessive amount of money, but then want $140 to fix the lug nuts suddenly in order to get the truck back, and they did that without approval. And I found a different place to do it for, you know, way cheaper than that, what they want from me, which is what I was going to do, and I was going to pay for it. However, at the same time, I've already told my daughter I'm under Chapter 13 bankruptcy. I'm permanently disabled. I've worked my entire life to have everything I have and be where I am. I've lost everything I've worked for, minus what I barely have left due to my mother's ongoing crimes and the crimes of the large agencies and people she uses to help her. My daughter needs to be contributing something, and once I told her that, she decided that she was just going to not stay at my house very often and, you know, feel entitled to go wherever, do whatever, and just not have to contribute anything. Because I actually just told her to pay the last couple car payments that I have. I have about, I believe it's 2.5 left now. At the time, I believe it was 4.5, which my car payment is very cheap, $222 a month. And she didn't want to do any of that, so she made herself scarce and disappeared, but then wants me to fix the vehicle. And then I told her years ago, you know, while she was off playing all these narcissistic games, getting manipulated by my mother and not going to school and not getting a job all that time, that vehicles don't last forever. You've been given a vehicle. I've worked for everything I have. And she just thinks that I'm going to pay for it, but then wants me to pay for it, but doesn't want to contribute anything. At the same time, I'm still permanently disabled. My mother's crimes and the agencies and the people she uses has caused all of my income to come to a dead halt for a period of time at this point. While I am still working things out with my homeowner's insurance to get the rest of the home fixed. At least something is moving in that direction at this point, because it has taken quite some time and it finally is moving. But I can't make it move any faster. There is another check on the way, and there will be another one. And another one after that. It's just going to take some time. Again, I cannot make that portion of what I have going on move any faster. However, this could have all been avoided and put in order, in some type of working order, a long time ago, had my mother not been out here committing all these serious crimes. And again, at the very root, I wouldn't even own this home down here in Ohio if she had not inserted herself in the 2021 Ford gas leak and told them my son and I do not have a severe condition, a life-threatening condition, and cannot have any gas particles. Our brain tissue is open, and everything we're breathing in goes straight through and loads in our system. She told them I have a mental disorder, and none of that's ever been real. And they cut our hotel off, forced us home, where we lived with our brains bleeding on the floor of the main floor of the home for quite some time before I purchased this home with cash, like 8 or 9 months later. So, you know, that never needed to happen in the first place. All they had to do was continue to pay for our hotel, or they could have bought this home for me and paid for it for me, which is what should have happened, so I could continue to work. I had to come far south so I could still get to work, so I could still produce the income to make everything run until I got things to the next step. But everything keeps being disrupted. At the root is my mother, her deranged phone calls to all these large agencies and people helping her. And, you know, the manipulation of everybody and what's going on. You know, there's just several problems here. And not only that, but I don't believe she even called my mother to get the $140 to pick up this truck for these lug nuts, which does not cost $140. She called my ex, and then he called me. So I don't know what the hell is going on here. But there's so many crimes going on that it's led to my income coming to a dead halt. It's causing problems with my Chapter 13 bankruptcy. None of this should be going on. However, because I am working with the homeowners insurance and I did manage to get them to start moving things forward with what I had going on there, hopefully I will be able to get it all situated before there's a separate issue, and get it all back in working order and be able to fix the home. Because if I'm working on the home, I also cannot go do anything else to produce any income either. So that will be where my time will be spent. So there's just all these issues. These are actually crimes. Every single problem in my life ties back to my mother's ongoing crimes. Nobody's doing anything about it. Romulus Police, Brownstown Police, and Flat Rock Police are all involved in the crimes, and so is Ford Motor Company. And so now we got all these issues with my daughter as well. But hey, it's cool. She doesn't have to be parented or told what to do. And she's going to feel entitled, and I'm just going to pay for everything out of my pocket while she's fully able-bodied and nothing wrong with her. And here I am permanently disabled from the carbon monoxide. My whole system is toxic. And here I am struggling to get through treatment with the concentrator that I rented for 1 month. I've only rented it for 1 month. I do need to do it at least 2 months, honestly. But it's going to depend on all these other circumstances. And, I don't feel good. My brain is burnt to a crisp at times. I am incapacitated at times. I suffer extreme waves of nausea that are debilitating. And it's been ongoing since the day of my injury in 2018. It doesn't go away. I live this way. I don't have the inches of space between my brain and my skull anymore, but my brain is still injured. These particles that are floating around near the Flat Rock area are still going into my system where my home is. I can't even be upstairs in the upstairs portion of the home. I went up there again last night and it knocked me unconscious and burnt the shit out of my brain. Which is why this home was purchased in the first place. So there's all these ongoing issues. Nobody's doing anything about it. Everybody's just playing a role separately while there's all this triangulation and pentagondulation going on, because it's more than 3 ways at this point. I mean, the situation that just happened a few minutes ago proves it. But yeah, I don't really know how to get this under control. Really, the FBI needs to be brought in, or the U.S. Marshals, because again, these are police departments and police officers who are involved in the crime. So how do you take down a police department? But yeah, I just wanted to catch all that on film and let everybody know what's going on and give an update. And what I had going on with the homeowners insurance is finally moving in one direction. Here I am trying to get this home sold all over again. And in the background, all these other situations are going. And I do have important paperwork I have to get to. And I had to put it off the last couple days because I got really sick. Once I rented the concentrator, we started treatment again because we went so long without. The stuff comes out in reverse, so it makes you sick. And then I had so many symptoms I couldn't take care of the paperwork that I needed to get the next insurance check rolling, because it does need to start flowing in the background, rolling at the same time all this is going on. So that it is at the top of my list, and I couldn't even get to it because of how sick I've been. Because it's going to take a week or two of daily treatment in order to get things flowing properly where I'm not just stuck sick laying around. But I am doing things. I'm doing what I can, and I have all these different things going in all these different directions. But yeah, this is all tied back to the ongoing crimes. Nobody believes I am who I say I am. Everybody believes I'm this mental disorder drug addict living in a cardboard box, when here my income should be flowing and growing steadily. Should have never been disrupted in the first place. And at this point in 2025, my income has been disrupted, and everything I'm building has been disrupted 4 solid times, 4 complete wipeouts, on top of all these other disruptions as well. On top of the fact that I spent $165,000 out of pocket for treatment. So, I got an entitled child. I've got my other one being manipulated by his paternal grandmother, making her give him all his money when he shouldn't be giving her anything. She doesn't own anything, doesn't have anything. He should be giving her anything. This shit is disgusting. People are so jealous and envious of what I have and where I am in life that this is the result of all that. And nobody wants to believe that I'm really 100% self-made, self-built. And I really did accomplish everything I set out to do initially, on top of accommodating all these crimes and these disruptions and the chaos that I live in. And it never stops. And I live chronically sick. I'm permanently injured. I live chronically sick. I can only handle so much on my plate within a day. I have 2 to 4 times more on my plate than I can handle at any given time since the day of my injury in 2018. And it never gets situated. I just live in constant chaos trying to juggle the most urgent situation. So it's really shitty living that way, especially when your life, you've built it to a certain degree and you put in all the work, 20 times more than a regular individual to have all that and have it flow properly and have all these people and agencies commit crimes against you and continue to do so and keep disrupting everything. So the shit's disgusting. It needs to get situated quick. An agency needs to step in and apprehend these people because it's a lot of people. It's my mother and a top tier level of individuals all need to be apprehended at this point. But yeah, I do have to get back on my phone and message the couple sets of people that I'm waiting on to come show the home to. I just wanted to film this video and give an update on everything that had been going on. So I will be back with another one. Thanks. Bye.